morning. But just before we get into that, we'll continue to remind you that Ghana works better when we all play our parts. So please pay your TV license fee today by dialing *447 *333 hash, *447 *333 hash. The time is now. Play Rand Lottery, the trusted lottery that gives you more chances to win big every single day. It's affordable, transparent, and rewarding. Rand Lottery puts you first. Now here is the best part. With every 3 daily draws, you never miss a chance. Start your morning with exciting morning draws. Keep the thrill alive at noon with the Star Midday Games and close the day in style with the Anaju Star Draws. That's 3 opportunities every day, from Monday to Sunday, to turn your dreams into reality. So don't wait. Whether it's building that new home, supporting your family, or chasing your personal goals, Rand Lottery is the best lottery to stake. Join thousands of winners across the country and make your dream a reality. Now, opportunities to stake today include Golden Souvenir, Star Tuesday, and Tuesday Anaju Star. The Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, is reminding members and the public that they no longer need to visit any of its branches to access services. With the introduction of the SNIT virtual branch, members can conveniently access services remotely anytime and from anywhere using the SNIT app USSD *711*9 hash, *711*9 hash, and also SNIT portal snit.org.gh. Services available include member registration, benefits processing, updates of personal records, and general enquiries. Now, for seamless access to SNIT's 24-hour virtual services, kindly call SNIT at 0302 611 622, 0302 611 622 to interact with the team. SNIT always delivers on its promise. And again, if you're looking to expand your business horizons while enjoying a world-class travel experience, here's something to note. The Vanuatu Business and Pleasure Tour 2026 is bringing together business leaders, investors, and professionals for a unique blend of strategic engagement and leisure. Participants will take part in business forums, networking sessions, and investment discussions, while also experiencing Vanuatu's rich culture, scenic islands, and tourism attractions. It is business with purpose and pleasure. Registration is currently open for the Vanuatu Business and Pleasure Tour 2026. Think business, think leisure, think Vanuatu. To register, call the Vanuatu Trade Commission Ghana on 0240 229 282 or 0544 626 905. Note, registration is on first come, first served basis. How do you start your day? If you haven't had your cup of Mixi Choco, you are truly missing out. The rich new taste of Mixi Choco is crafted to brighten your mornings and keep you refreshed all day long. Everything you need is right in there. Just add hot water, stir, and enjoy a warm, comforting cup. Now for the coffee lovers, Mixi has something special for you too. Mixi Coffee delivers a creamy, smooth coffee experience that keeps you energized for your everyday hustle. Just one sip and you're good to go. And guess what? There is more. Introducing the new delicious Mixi Strawberry, a sweet, exciting addition, and one more reason to love Mixi. Start your day the right way. Start it with Mixi. Mixi. Charlie Hot. Now let's look at what our papers are saying. We'll start off with the Ghanaian Times, and the big one says, Tamale water crisis sparks public health fears. Residents depend on unsafe sources. You can read that on page 3. Chairman Wintemi ordered to open defense in illegal mining trial. And 2 dead as light aircraft crashes at Tema. That was so unfortunate. It happened yesterday. Now onto the Daily Graphic. Mofa audit, tons of rice, maize missing. 2 ghost companies paid 24 million Ghana cedis. Right. Now to the Chronicle. KT to AG. Ato, withdraw your reports from Parliament or face me in court. Gold Board seals 27.5 million Ghana cedis geological deal. Now to the Daily Guide. Security Services recruitment put medical exercise on ice. Minority leader Alexander Penyumakin says so with his picture boldly there. To die in a helicopter crash. Gold Board, okay, right? We'll move on to the Daily Searchlight. Disabled with no jobs. Demo coming on 24th March 2026. Should expect that. Freddie Blabe remanded over land dispute. Other stories in there as well on the Daily Searchlight. We'll move on to the next. BNFT. SMEs and SME, sustainable economic growth depends on strong SMEs, not just large corporations. MTN CEO, as MTN Ghana, launches SME Accelerate program. MPC weighs policy path as oil surge test disinflation gains. You can read that on page 3 of the BNFT. Other stories as well. Felix van der Palen will digest with his guests. Please stay. Don't forget we are interactive across the board.
Okay, Bium, you want to watch Medugbena, Yakata, in Dinami. Still our Heritage Month of March. Good morning. Welcome back to Headlines here on the GTV Breakfast Show. I am Kweku van der Palen, your Felix. Today, we are diving into some pressing national issues making waves across the country. Rising fuel prices have left commercial drivers frustrated and threatening higher transport fares as petrol hits 11.57 Ghana cedi. Actually, the Bank of Ghana governor has warned that escalating Middle East tensions could threaten our hard-won inflation gains, even as inflation dips below target. So we have a lot to get into. You can be a part of the discussions via WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is 05555. That's, let me take it again, it's 055. Okay, so 05555610034. That's 05555610034. That's our WhatsApp number, and you can join the conversation, okay? And then send your messages, and I will definitely read them out to you. Now, to break all this down this morning, we have three strong voices who will be joining us. I have two with us in the studio. One will join us, I'm sure, as we move along. Representing the United Party, I have Solomon Owusu on my immediate left. He's the spokesperson and also the communications director. Solo, Markwawa.
Yeah, pronto. No, I wish I phone you there.
Yes. And also I like your fugu.
Yes, someone dedicated to me. So nice, so grateful to the president.
Well done.
Haruna, very grateful wherever you may find yourself. For this wonderful fugu.
Okay.
This is Ghana's month, so everything is about Ghana. Everything is about Ghana, so that we continue to elevate our culture to the next level. The Zambians brought a fight. I think the fight will over them, and we'll continue to push for Fugu to be an international club.
All right. Good one there. I'll also be joined by Charles Forson, Honorable Charles Forson. They're also honorable, so.
I prefer my honor, dishonorableness.
Yes, Honorable Charles Forson is the MP at Tema Central for the NPP.
Yes, please.
Yes. Good morning to you and welcome to the show as well. Okay. So we'll be joined by David Vondi very soon. He is with the NDC and he's MP for Chifo at Timokwa. And he's also going to join us pretty shortly on the show as we discuss the issues. And David has also joined us, and we'll say hi to him. David, Honorable David, you're looking
Genesis
good.
10.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now these are the
Welcome to the
generations
show.
of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and
Sorry about
Japheth.
that. I'm sure we'll have to tem that off. Okay. So before we get into the issues, I want us to first delve into the unfortunate incident that happened yesterday. The unfortunate Microlight. I said Microsoft earlier, and I repeated it again. There's a Microlight aircraft crash. Okay, that occurred yesterday in Tema, Site 17, Committee 1. A Microlight aircraft crashed and burst into flames near a school park in Tema, Committee 1 on Monday afternoon, killing both occupants on board. Emergency services gave that information, and the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority issued a statement confirming that the aircraft with registration number 9GADV was en route from Ho to Accra when it went down at approximately 14:18 Zulu time, just after 2 p.m. local time. And 2 persons on board died. We understand that the aircraft was flying from Ho to Accra. But quite an unfortunate occurrence there. For me, it sends chills down my spine and takes me back to what happened, back last year in August. And it's quite a sad situation. And so, your thoughts on this?
Yes, first of all, the name of the game is accident. So it means it could happen at any given time. But when it happens, the most important thing is the lessons that we draw from it. As of now, the information available is very scanty. What the Ghana Civil Aviation has put out there does not point to any factor that really caused it. They just told us that the Microlight was coming from Ho. 2 people were on board, and then further information will be provided. I'm very surprised that between 3:30 p.m. of yesterday till 7:50 this morning, we have not had or received any further information from the Ghana Civil Aviation. So it makes the matter worse. What we can say is that I would express my deepest condolences to the affected families, and then wish them well. But most importantly, because there are some rumors flying in town that this Microlight aircraft had been grounded for like 22 years. I'm not too sure how.
Grounded for 22 years?
That's what the sort of information coming. That is why we would need the Ghana Civil Aviation to clarify.
Yeah, because investigation is currently underway.
So they are saying that, we don't need more than 2 hours to give us that information as to whether or not it was grounded for 22 years. This business.
So it wasn't working. It wasn't used for 22 years.
That is the unofficial information some of us are getting. That is why they are the authority. They are the regulators. They are supposed to give us what is real.
Okay.
And I'm saying that information regarding the number of years that have been granted, and I'm sure they themselves have seen it. If you have seen this information in the public domain, and you are not coming to confirm or deny it, then it means silence means consent. You agree. So they should come. Again, we are told that the Microlight aircrafts do not fly longer distance. Whether or not it's true, whether or not this Microlight aircraft was suitable for that journey, is another matter that we need to...
Let me bring Honorable Charles also in. Does this raise concerns about the standards of our aviation industry regarding timing, as Solo is saying, coming up with what details are, and even cross-checking to see which aircraft are airworthy?
First and foremost, I need to empathize and sympathize with the family of the bereaved family. I was at the scene yesterday. The luck we had was that it crashed just, there's a crutch, TMA crutch. TMA is Tamale Metropolitan, and it crashed just behind it. It was sheer luck that the crash did not occur in. It did not
touch the crutch itself. It was a school park, as it were.
Chimu. The school is there, but there's just beside it there's a crutch.
Because you are in Temple.
Yes, it's an adjoining constituency. It's just one community apart. And I'm saying that we got lucky yesterday.
Yes.
If it had crashed into the school, I mean, we just cannot imagine what would have happened to Ghana. We need to be careful about safety. We first heard it was an helicopter. Later, when I went there, it was a little aircraft. And as we need answers, as Solo just said, we need to be given answers, and then we don't have to wait forever. Once we wait, people will start pushing narrative, and whatever the grapevine pushes, that is what people will buy into. So we will ask
Which shouldn't be the case.
Yes, which shouldn't be the case. I mean, the individuals involved, their names, maybe they may be keeping it for obvious reasons, but was the aircraft airworthy? Those are the questions, and we need to be careful. Every life matters, and Ghana, we are growing, we are already in black. We are in black because the nation Ghana is suffocating through all the scandals.
All right, but let's focus on this matter first. But, apart from the fact that we are happy, and I saw whether it was the head of the crutch praying and thanking God that it did not crash into the crutch itself, beyond that, the kids could be traumatized. Are we also considering?
Yes, yes, of course.
Because I saw them moving out in a certain way.
I mean, if you know Tamale, if you know Community 1, there's a Ninku school, and then there's a crutch. And, I mean, it was sheer luck, and God has been good to us. I mean, the kids ought to be taken through the counseling, as suggested. But we need to be careful as a nation. We need, the authorities need to act. Who asks them if what my brother Solo is saying is true, that the aircraft has been grounded for so long a time? Who cleared it? And it's only in Ghana that people do anything and they get away with. Nobody is penalized. Nobody is asked to step down.
So they have to be held,
because that is why politicians are always held to be, quote unquote, untrustworthy. Because a politician will tell you that if such a thing should happen, I'll resign. The same politician will go out there, act in the same manner, and then still be at post. And nobody will ask him or her to step down.
At this point, I'll bring Honorable David Vondi in. David, good to see you. You heard the concerns of the table. Now, everything is pointing to one thing, the airworthiness of this microlight aircraft. What work has been done or was done? Do we leave things to chance?
Well, let me say good morning to my very good brothers who are seated right here with me, and good morning to the good people of Trifuetimoko and your good self. I think that, first of all, those on board and the gentleman piloting the micro lights would not want, for what better worth of words, want to kill himself.
Of course, nobody will want to kill themselves. So you're talking about the rules and the checks.
We all agree that it's an accident. We also agree that you can buy a brand new car and it may run into an accident. So that's, first of all, the first thing we need to look at. It does not also mean that we do not have to check ourselves and our checks and balances should not work. I think that if it is true that those, aircraft was grounded for close to 20 years, And
as you talk, they're showing a video.
Yeah. I mean, it was just moved, and it almost crashed into these innocent kids, who have very brightened future, only for these aircraft grounded, allegedly, if you like, for close to 20 years, to have crashed and traumatized the kids this way is unfortunate. And I think that we can start somewhere, start asking individuals who occupy positions to be.
So where do we start from? Who do we ask?
I mean, we all know that the authorities of these, is the civil aviation, the aviation, department, whoever have the responsibility of giving clearing aircraft of this nature to take off should be able to give us report.
So in this case, what's your
should be able to let us know whether or not they were cleared to be able to fly, whether or not they were cleared in terms of the air conditions and all that. And because we've seen this thing and it's so devastating, I mean, it's still fresh in my mind. I don't even want to remember losing my very good friends, in that bizarre manner, leaving their kids and wife and families and our party occupy position. You remember, we're not even able to appoint a replacement of these two gentlemen yet. And to only see this thing it brings too much, to mind and very, very uncomfortable situation.
Quickly.
So for me,
let me just quickly. You know what happened in August? A lot of concerns were raised as to whether that chopper itself was airworthy and everything about it. Now this one, the military are telling us, no, the Deputy Defense Minister, saying that this does not belong to, the military or the state.
So we want to our airspace.
Good. So the issue is beyond remembering what happened and how emotional we get about it. We're looking at what goes into allowing these aircraft to fly over our airspace.
That's why I'm saying that we need to ask questions. People need to start talking. Yeah. Who gave permission to the aircraft to even take off, first of all? And is it airworthy at the time it's moving? What are the check and balances? Let's know that all those things were done and it was cleared that this flight can move. Then we can say and say that 100% is an accident. And that's what we always say, act of God, and of which, of course, there's nothing like that. God is not a killer.
I agree.
So it is our own, actions and inactions that brings us into this kind of thing. And I don't think that anybody would want to be accusing God for what God do not know anything about.
So there's an inaction in this.
So for me, I think that people should begin to ask questions. And you know what it brings? It actually brings people's doubt about whether or not flying on air, traveling on air is safe or not. But I thought that it should be one of the safest way of traveling, and so if things like this are happening in our country frequent and like that, it brings a lot of doubt in our ability to manage our aviation system, which of course I believe that is not a good thing for us. People must ask questions, and people must begin to answer questions who allow the flight, whether it is airworthy, whether or not check and balances are done, who allow it. Now, if you feel that all these things were done, whether it's agreed that, okay, so you can fly the distance you can go and all that, if those check and balances are done properly, and if the reports tells us that, hey, I mean, those things are properly checked and all that, then we can say, okay, so it's an accident. What can we do to prevent things of that nature? Yes, of course, it may not be for the military, but it's an aircraft. I mean, human beings are in it, 2 lives are lost, and we need to be protecting everybody. It doesn't matter whether it's for military or not. Okay. I mean, and that must be said. Okay.
Questions must be answered.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's move on to our other topics, and we'll begin with what's happening in the Middle East, the tensions which we understand could threaten Ghana's inflation gains. The Bank of Ghana governor has made certain statements. He's cautioned that rising tensions in the Middle East could undermine Ghana's progress in reducing inflation, despite recent improvements in the country's macroeconomic indicators. He was speaking at, there was a 129th, meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee, and he came up with some of these thoughts. Even explained what us are aware, creating volatility in international oil markets. But I'll begin with you again this week, and I'll come to you. Honorable Bondi,
Yes.
given the Bank of Ghana's warning that Middle East tensions could drive imported inflation, through higher oil prices, what proactive measures is the government putting in place to shield Ghanaians, from, fuel and potential cost of living increases?
Well, I think that the conflict in the Middle East is a very serious issue globally. It is not a situation where you see one small country and the other engaged in a fight. I know that our friends in the MPP would try every means possibly to compare this kind of conflicts to Ukraine-Russia war, when they believed that Ukraine-Russia war was affecting everything in Ghana, including even the water we breathe. This is a conflict where the most important country in the world, the most sophisticated military, country in the world, the most richest country in the world, the United States of America, engaged in a war with Iraq, which controls the flow of 20% of the world, crude, and all other neighboring, countries, they're striking and destroying things. You can't compare that to that of where Vladimir Putin decided to have issue with Ukraine.
Really, look at how this comes into your proactiveness as a government.
Mitigation.
Hold on. I'm saying to you that these conflicts is way huge, bigger than things that you can compare between Russia, war. Now, what's happening now is this. We are seeing the effect globally, where even in the United States, gasoline is actually shooting up. And you see United States is now lifting bans on some countries that ordinarily they wouldn't have lifted ban on, because they want a flow of oil, and one is Russia, and so forth and so on. So globally, everybody is seeing what's happening to be a very serious issue that may even bring famine, if care is not taken. And so, but what we are doing in our country, which of course at the end of the day would have to mitigate, if you like, try to handle the issues properly, is absolutely, good. Point is this. Today, our exchange rate, don't forget that the crude is not controlled by only the price we buy it in the world market. The crude is also the fuel we use here. The price of our fuel is made up of how much we buy it and our exchange rate and other factors, taxes and all that. Today, our exchange rate is good. The dollar is selling around 11 Ghana cedis. And so if we were buying a dollar 17 and 18 Ghana cedis as we used to buy in the MPP era, you know how devastating this particular act would have been on Ghana. Today we are buying dollar at 11 cedis.
So are you saying that?
What it means
is that the work you've done already is what is
what it means is that in as much as the crude will go up in the world market and we'll have to buy it, price will have to go up, because we're able to manage the exchange rate well, the effect will not be as dangerous and as impactful negatively like the way it would have been if the dollar was high.
So in other words, I'm saying that the work has been done already.
Point number two, I agree with the central bank, that it might affect our rate of inflation. Very good work we've done today. Inflation is around 3.2%. It may affect it. I don't think that it will affect it to a extent that will rise to about 50-55% we used to see. It may, battling and all that, it may hit it, but we wouldn't get to where we were. So for me, I think that is a concern that Ghanaians and dealing with our expenditure, putting our money where our mouth is, where is more important, where is worthy. We may have the shocks, and we will have the because we're part of this world, but it will not be as dangerous and disastrous as we saw it, in the era of the MPP. So Ghanaians, yes, I agree, we will have some impact, but trust His Excellency Mahama and the management of the economy team that are so, intelligent. I believe that we'll surmount this trouble, and then we'll pray that very soon these conflicts would end. Because you see, the international world, the globe, is actually seeing the impact of these things, and serious people are talking. Iran is, I believe, himself is thinking about, and nobody wants war, and so for me, these things will survive very soon. But our economy is resilient.
Yeah, let me bring Honorable Charles.
The impact will not be as huge as we'd have seen if these people were in power.
Okay,
it wouldn't happen. Yeah,
my good brother.
Yes. So you've had.
You asked him about the factors, the structures put in place to cushion
proactiveness.
Yes, to cushion the Ghanaian, to cushion businesses. But look at what he's trying to cure a mischief. President Mahama, then candidate Mahama, said that the U.S.-Ukraine war has no ramification on the economy.
No U.S.-Ukraine.
No, Russia-Ukraine.
Yes.
Thank you. However, some few weeks ago, the president said that, look, we should be ready. And that the war, the Israel-America-Iran war, is going to have a dire ramification on the economy. What did we hear the governor say? What has changed? The chickens will sure come home to roost. Look, yesterday I bought fuel. But before giving you the numbers, the Minister for Energy told us that we have 5 weeks for cover, and that within the 5 weeks, the fuel prices are never going to go up. Fuel is up by over, let's say, 20 to 30% now at the pumps. Yesterday I bought one at Gore. I buy about 800. Yesterday I had
It's supposed to be 16 for petrol and 17% for diesel.
We were told that
Each of the
just
stations you buy the food.
Gore, come to Niger market. I bought. I know how much I buy. When it gets to that gauge, I buy about 800. It gets me to the top. Yesterday I had to buy 1,000 plus. All that I'm saying is that, look, you can say, I keep saying, politicians are seen as untrustworthy because if he sees you, you want to shield it. If he doesn't, you say, oh, the president, His Excellency John Mahama told us that, look, the Ukraine-Russia war has no ramification on this economy. What has changed? The energy minister told us that for the next 5 weeks, fuel prices are never going to go up. After a few days, after making such pronouncement, few days into it, prices have gone up. You are saying that 17%. Let me use that 17%. So meaning that after 2 weeks, it's likely to go up beyond 30%. I wanted to hear my brother say that, look, we've put in place this mitigation, this incentivization for businesses, and that for the next 3 months, 6 months, nothing will happen. But he cannot say, you know why? Because, you see, when they were taking so much from the cocoa farmers, and then they said the price of cocoa plummeted up abroad. What has changed? They moved the cocoa price from 36 cedis to 3,600 to 2,500. And then I keep telling them that, look, it is not about coming to meet a good economy and then living off it. But you managing it is a whole different thing. So if you go and appoint somebody who does not have the experience, doesn't have the expertise, and doesn't have the analytical basis to manage the scope, nothing good will come out of it. And you see, this whole thing.
So fuel, I see here, fuel, Goil Super is, Super which is Super XP is 12.40, okay? And diesel is 16.69, and then Super XP 95 is 14.30.
Yes, and what was the previous price?
So
you see,
fuel, petrol, that you say you bought so much, is not up to what you're saying.
Diesel is 15. It's 15.
This is
but I'm
national
saying
television.
comparative. What was the price yesterday as against today? You see, you bring, what did I say?
You
which
left
is
it
not-
at 23 cedis per liter. That's what you did. 23 cedis per liter. Because you couldn't manage the exchange rate well. Tell the Ghanaian that you know the truth. 23 cedis per liter. When you took it to 14 cedis per gallon.
Honorable, let
You see, I keep telling
Honorable
people, when I teach, I tell people that it's not about the shouting. It's about what you do, which will impact in people's life. Cocoa farmers, let me tell you something. Do you know most cocoa farmers are chopping down cocoa trees, selling them off to galamseyers? And do you know the
We're not
motivator?
discussing cocoa.
No, but let me tell you that.
I don't want you to interrupt him, because you know he was quiet when you had...
Because I was speaking the truth.
Please, let him have his...
Thank you. You're a very good moderator. He's my brother off here, but that's what he does. All I'm saying is, look, President Mahama, then candidate Mahama, assured us that, look, whatever turbulence out of Ghana's economy will have nothing to do with it. And that when he gets into office, he's going to build a robust economy that no shocks, nothing. He will build all the shocks that not any car's shock. But the shocks will be so good that nothing from the Americans, nothing from the Israelis will affect us. What has changed?
But there are unforeseen contingencies when you're executing plans. Things come up and probably you have to alter.
So he never knew that. He didn't know.
Maybe the magnitude
Of
the
what?
extent to which whatever it is happened.
We were told that we have full cover for the next five weeks. It's just 1 week. That was my good brother John Jinapo made mention that look, we shouldn't be afraid. Prices of fuel are not going to go up. After how many days? Now let me use his numbers. Or his my brother Vondi saying that fuel hasn't gone up. I said I used to buy, when my gauge is somewhere, I used to buy 800 cedis. Yesterday I bought 1,000 cedis. Is that not an increment? Okay. Oh, then we are saying it. You asked a fantastic question. What is the government, his government, going to do to cushion the Ghanaian? The incentivization, the mitigation factors. They couldn't say anything.
He was trying to lay a certain foundation that work has been done.
Which work?
You know, they've been through a certain process of laying.
But
down
when the president, you see, when we were in the chamber, when the president came to give the State of the Nation address, he said that he's giving 1 million jobs. Yesterday, you had Ejuso, NHIS office. They had to close down because of just one job placement. In my own, let me land, please. In my own constituency, the same thing happened. Look, when you do the division, 1 million jobs over 276, my constituency should have gotten not less than 3,600 plus jobs. But they were fighting over just one job placement. Yesterday in Ejuso, the same thing.
All right, we'll come to the issue of jobs. But let me bring Solo in. Solo, the indications we are getting is that this Middle East tensions, pose greater inflationary risk than any gold, price upside down. So should we focus on capitalizing on gold or hedge, for these oil shocks from where you stand?
So the primary job of every government is to manage the economy so that citizens will be happy. That is why we vote for people. So I'm not one of those that are of the school of thought that because of external factors, Ghanaians must suffer. It's the reason we were put there, to manage the economy and manage it well. And to the extent that Ghana is a net exporter of crude, we would also be benefiting in the same way the prices of crude on the international market is going up. So when it happens like that, that windfall must be used to cushion us, because you didn't expect the prices to rise for you to benefit. So if you are benefiting as a result of war, and we are exporters of crude, we must be laughing and not be crying. That's the first thing. Secondly, our constitution is so clear that the recognition that most secure democracy is one that the most to recognize that democracy is thriving is to see that basic necessities are provided to the people of this country. Mm-hmm. That is the job of every government. Now, you cannot be a government and think that there will not be external shocks and that all things will be equal, things will be smooth. It is the reason why, as a country, we must always and always strive to get our best shots, the best brains, the best minds to be occupying sensitive positions and to be making that sensitive decisions that will lead to prosperity for all of us. I have been listening to my brothers, the MPP and NDC. It's laughable. Forcing, your government just left office. You are not ashamed that you couldn't create the much needed jobs for them to continue so that there will not be one job and people closing offices. You know how they stole from these people, your people.
I was even also asking you the advantage or the chance we stand with gold as against oil.
It's a windfall. We are making it from there. Okay. It has to cushion the system. Okay. If you have done mathematics, straight lines, y is equal to mx plus c. So that all the functions of the straight line must be working. If the other side is not going well, the other side comes to cushion it. We know that this war in Iran will not travel that length that people are thinking it will. But it must also serve as a catalyst for us to develop critical sectors for our economy. When the governor of Bank of Ghana says that it poses risk to our inflation, what he's saying is that because as a country we import a lot of things, inflation outside external inflation will be transported to our economy. But if you are governor of Bank of Ghana and you are the finance minister or the managers of this economy, what it tells you that you quickly go into your import list. What are the leading items that we are importing into this country that comparatively Ghana can produce here so that inflationary pressures does not affect your economy? Okay. What does it take to be growing rice in this country? We have all the fertile lands. We keep talking about these things. We dance around it. We write beautiful English about it. Then we go and sleep. To the extent that we import tomatoes into this country. What sort of land does Burkina have that we don't have? For them to be supplying Ghana with tomatoes. What about Niger? I'm not even talking about sophisticated production. I'm talking about basic. If we were to take our inflationary inflation and look at the components, what causes our inflation to rise, food is a key component. So if you have to deal with that, no matter the external inflation that is introduced, you will still have a relatively stable inflationary rate. So this must call for action and not talk. Okay. I said that the first year of this administration, they have done phenomenally well in terms of stabilizing the economy. Beyond that must be the transformation. The indicators that you have achieved must translate into production. You were told by the finance minister that they intend to invest in palm oil production. I said it's a good thing, but I'm yet to see it. Because Malaysia is getting about 20 billion from oil palm plantation. And you know Malaysia is an Islamic country, they don't even drink alcohol. Can you imagine Ghana that they booze on top of it? How much will be raising from it? That surpasses your cocoa every year. Ghana does not make more than $2 billion from cocoa. But palm plantation alone, someone is making 20 billion. So it calls for a shift in terms of policy. And all other food items, pharmaceuticals. We have what it takes to be improving. It is only by doing that you can expand your economy to deal with the numerous unemployment. You cannot be expanding the economy when the focus is on government. Government is going to provide. What can government do in terms of employment? We have been lying to ourselves. They are in Parliament. Anytime the budget goes to Parliament, we are told that 90% of the budget allocations goes into interest payment and emolument, payment to public sector workers. So we are left with about 10% for capital expenditure. That's building your roads, schools, and then hospitals, etc., etc. How can 10% do any monumental? That is why how come various areas are always complaining about lack of adequate roads, good drinking water, and so on. And what you know, this is the situation, and you think of adding more. That means you are going to move your expenditure from 90% to about 95%, leaving 5% for capital expenditure.
So we'll come to the issue of unemployment that you talked about. But let me go back to Honorable David Vondi.
Prior to Honorable, I want to correct something that my good brother Solo said.
But you have to do that in a few seconds.
Yes,
so
he said something that we just left office and we stole. You know, he's living off the Ora mantra. You know, Ora, they said we had stolen, $21 billion. I brought it into using open market, 12.5. That is 262 billion on the floor of Parliament. 262 billion cities. Brackwell & Co. said that we've stolen 21 billion using the open market dollar.
How much did you steal?
We've not stolen anything.
What are you talking about?
We've not.
Okay, so hold on.
No, because you want to look straight
Don't shout.
No, don't shout.
Don't shout.
So the national service, what happened?
I gave you just a few seconds. So at least you've touched on it. So hear me. Because of time,
what is saying this morning?
But I'm saying that you don't have to shout.
I'm not shouting.
Wait.
But I'm surprised.
I'm only saying that the president came to the floor, said that they've retrieved 600 million Ghana cedis. Then we asked, is it from what is the man's name? Before, where is the money from? So when you come and sit and say that we've stolen from where?
Okay,
so that's it. So I'll bring. Okay, gentlemen, I'll bring
from before.
I'll bring Honorable Vondi in. Honorable, your question is. Hello, can I have your attention? Hello. So let me have your attention. He was talking about windfalls when I said we could leverage on gold. So how are we taking advantage of that to ensure the transformation that we desire?
The gold prices that are going up is good for Ghana. We are exporters of gold, and the gold board is doing extremely well. It is the reason, and His Excellency Dramani Mahama said it, it is the reason why our economy is doing well. One of the very good reasons is the establishment of the gold board, which of course is making our economy do well. We will leverage on that, and it is the reason why we're seeing our prices the way it is going. I have said already that if we were buying dollar at 23 cedis to $1, still you will know how much the fuel would have been costing at the pump. If we still had the what's the name? The e-levies, if we're still having the COVID-19 levies, if we're still having all those things on the fuel, you will know how much would have been by now. And so the point I'm making is this, that in as much as nobody says that the prices did not go up because of the war, because of the international pricings that we're seeing today, it is better and would have been worse off if we were in the era of the MPP. And I don't think that any good analyst would want to dispute what I'm saying, that the economic management team that we have today, the fiscal discipline policies that His Excellency Mahama, Honorable Atuforsin, the Bank of Ghana governor are implementing today is the reason why, in as much as there is a major shock in the international space, we are having what we're having today. Other than that, I mean, today fuel would have been running around 30 to 35 cedis per liter, you know, if we were having the situation we used to have. And that's what it is. So for me, yes, the gold situations we're leveraging on. We're also exporting some crude we're leveraging on. The best management of the economy, reducing the exchange rate we're leveraging on. And it's the reason why we're seeing the stability still, in as much as we have this very horrible, terrible, international shocks that nobody is expecting. Our prayer and hope is that the war will be surmounted soon and very soon. The reasons for all these price hikes will come down, and the world will take, another look at prices. Because you see, look, remember what's the name of this man in the UK? He said that this war could bring famine, it could bring hunger in the entire globe. So it is not something that we can attribute to two countries fighting over land space. No. I mean, it is not going to be like that. It is about the superpower of the world. Right. Engage in superpower producers of crude. And that nobody can say that because we're Ghanaians and therefore it's not going to have effect. But the point is, how do you manage the effect when they come? What resilience, what blocks, what are the strategies you put in place in order to manage these things? The strategies are gold board, making sure that we're leveraging on the gold we have today. The strategies are managing our CD exchange rate with the dollar well today. We're managing successfully today. Our fiscal discipline is absolutely untouched. And that is why Ghana is living the way we're living. So yes, the shocks are coming, but we have built the blocks. I remember when late Kofi Annan said, you can build a castle in the sky. All you need to do is to build the foundations to support it to become reality. And that is what we're doing now, building strong economy so that the heat from international economy, international world, when it hits it, we may shake, but we will not be uprooted. And that's what we're doing. And I think that it's the best we can have, the prudency in the economy today. It is about the policies that we put in place, the policies that we're channeling today, and that is why the international shocks are not hitting us too much. Okay. So for me, it's a good thing.
All right.
It's a good thing.
All right. We ran out of time, so I wanted to touch on our last subject. It has to do with unemployment. The finance minister says they are rolling out, implementing some policies for employment. And I'll take it just from you again, quickly.
And I will not spend too much on that. The unemployment situation we see today, the over 500,000 young men and women who rush to buy security funds to be enrolled into the security, services, the military, the police, and so forth and so on, are not the making of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's administration today. Okay, these people were people that were supposed to be employed years back and did not get the opportunity to be employed. And today they are rushing to get job. I wonder how you attribute that to a government that is barely 1.5 years in office. I wonder how you attribute that to such government. We're talking about a situation where things like one district, one factory was promised, it never came to light. You're talking about this NAPCO where they use billions of Ghana cedis only because it is an avenue to steal, swindle the Ghanaian people, where the one district, one factory little was actually committed there. Even those factories, nobody saw any factory anywhere. So I am saying that the destructions that we saw, the devastation we saw, the mismanagement we saw in the previous administration carried into our administration, and we're trying to solve it. That's why you see a lot of people running to. Those days, you look for people to even go to the military.
Our people have said that.
So
people have said that.
But what are we doing now?
The blame game. We keep blaming each other. But I want to ask you about something.
But you cannot go forward if you don't know where you're coming from.
You study your history. But exactly. I want to ask you about this. For these policies, the Jumeirah, for instance,
yes,
and the NGLED, it's called the Next Generation Local Economic Development.
Yes. So
which of them are yielding results?
You see, the problem is that people expect that the moment we get to government, all those policies should be rolled out without properly planning and implementing them. As I speak to you now, Jumeirah is selecting a lot of people, young men and women, are giving them capital to start doing something. As I speak to you now, all the Akukon Kitenkiti is working. As I speak to you now, support for farmers is working. As I speak to you now, things are happening, okay? And so, you see,
You've had a lot of time. At least you've made the point
that we will be judged after our tenure in office. All right. So for me, things are working.
Okay.
And things will work successfully.
Alamocha, do you believe in these policies, or for you? Because I saw you giggling and doing all kinds of things.
It's laughable. Let him start. They said they were going to bring 24-hour economy. And you know how much was committed to that? 110 million, less than $10 million. I mean, it's just, the last time they committed something, we never saw anything about that. Then the Women World Banking, they are saying that they are going to give the vice president, that is her model baby, 401 million. When we did the numbers, and I spoke on it, you know, the women in our marketplaces, then running mate, she promised every woman that, look, I'm going to support you. And when we did the numbers, the support, the loan that she says she's going to give, it's only 100 Ghana cedis.
Oh,
do the numbers. Look, you see, I play with numbers. When the 401 million divided by 276, every constituency is going to get about 1.4 million. In my constituency, she was at Committee 9 market, Committee 8 market, Committee 7 market, Committee 4 market. You understand? Do the numbers. When we did the numbers, they're going to get 100 cities. Is that the incentivization that we're talking about?
You're getting it wrong. This is a loan. It is not everybody who require loan. It's not everybody who want to take loan.
You had a lot of time.
So you can't say you are sharing money to people. It is not free.
You had a lot of time.
So
can you allow him? You had a lot of time.
Anyway, I mean, sometimes...
The security, yesterday, they were jumping. My brothers, they said that, oh, the president has indicated that, look, they have to increase it from 5,000 to 10,000. Let me use their 10,000 as a base. You ask people to buy forms for 220. In the olden days, it used to be, the age bracket was 18 years to 25. You move it to 35 years. Then you ask over 500,000 to buy. When you do the numbers, it's over 110 million. Then you ask them that, look, you guys haven't qualified. It's only 200,000 who have qualified for medicals. And you ask them to pay additional 1,600 for medicals. You know, when you put the numbers together, the money that they are going to use for the 24-hour economy, plus the money for the Women World Banking, the money they are going to get, they are going to swindle people to get, what they've already gotten, it's even more than that. What are we doing to our people? Look, with jobs, when they came in, they sack, I live in Tema, an industrial hub. They sack almost everybody. When you go to TDs, they sack almost everybody. But then the president said that, it was just a few weeks ago, that he said that, look, he's giving out some 1 million jobs. I did the numbers here. My constituency. Is the president saying that Tama Central, we live as though we are brothers and sisters. We don't know about MPP NDC. Because if an NDC person needs something, he comes to me. If I need something, I'll go to the NDC person. They don't have the jobs. That is why it has to take the constituency chairman, the NDC constituency chairman, the constituency secretary, together with the functional executive and the ward is and their polling station to lock up just the NHIS office. Just one placement.
But he heard him say, make reference to the other projects that are working.
What project? Let me come to Akoko-Nketenkete.
Quickly,
I spoke. You see,
you have just a minute.
The president said that he's giving 720,000 Akoko-Nketenkete to 13,000 farmers. When we did the numbers, they are going to get, each one was said that he's giving them a seed capital of 55 day-old chicks. Do you know that when you go to the marketplace, some day-old chicks are as low as 2 cities. Do the multiplication. It's 110. Yesterday I saw one, is it a DC or something, that they were giving 2,000. 1,000 or so were after a certain weeks or so, 1,000 were dead. And then he did the multiplication to 200 people, and he was saying that 50 people, when he did the multiplication, they are going to get 2 each. Anyway, but you see, they threw out the numbers without doing the real numbers. You see, the NDC...
So you had your minute. Let me
Thank you.
Yeah, so
but remember, he took away most of my time, my brother. So you need to act like a speaker.
Don't worry, you'll be fine.
Thank you.
So look, you've heard about the 500,000 agricultural target?
Yes.
Yes, and I don't know what you make of it, whether this is really the way to go, because there are other options that people have mentioned.
NPP.
Emphasis
Now, Solo has taken
plays
one of
on
the key away from
ICT,
you, so he's left with
tech
NP.
startups, and so on. What do you see
I mean,
as the real way to go?
it's important the government opens up opportunities. That is the work of every government. By focusing on the private sector, the public sector will not be able to absorb the teeming youth. You see, a policy like Nkukwan Ketinkiti is supposed to be a good one if it is well implemented. If you look at our import bills in terms of poultry, we are importing close to $400 million of frozen food or poultry, as you put it. And these are Nkukufunu, that's how they put it. Give me the right word. Not wholesome is the reason why obesity is all over the place. You understand? So
that's dead.
That's dead. I mean, they import it. They spend like 5-6 months before they get to Ghana, and then it's used for food. You go to the various restaurants, that's what you eat.
So they say that chicken restaurants are...
Oh, dead ones, forget it.
Some are very, very old.
Oh, no, dead ones.
Very, very, very.
That's why it's tasteless.
This also brings the issue of, what do you call it, the FDA and the Ghana standards.
Oh, bad. I mean, first of all, you see, poor and proud. You don't have it.
Yes.
And so you make do whatever you are given. That is why it is important you do what you call import substitution. So the Nkukwan Ketinkiti, if they are not going to focus on party apparatchiks, and they are going to give it to the real farmer, people that have the wherewithal, that have the temperament to go into that business, I tell you, it will turn around our fortunes. You understand? You look at areas like tech you are talking about. We were promised of 1 million coders. I thought training people in the IT was a good thing because currently there are a lot of companies outside the jurisdiction that do what we call outsourcing. You see companies here receiving calls. In the past, the British telecommunication had this, call centers in India.
So, British Airways.
It's still there. Now, if we were to look or listen to the accent of Indians speaking English and compare it to that of Ghana, I can bet you that Ghana is comparatively advantageous to take that business.
So we have to move in and then step up.
It's a matter of planning. You see, what our problem is that we don't plan. We have to be planning. Any country that does not plan is bound to fail. That is why I always come here with a great transformational plan. Everything I could from it. The specific
great
sector
transformational plan
is here. I can give by the United Party. By the United Party.
So it's a good option people should be looking at.
Yeah, it should be, and also, you see, there has to be some break in our educational system. Look, current regime, from secondary school, wholesale, all of them goes to the universities. Is that a good thing? We are proposing that after secondary school, you have a 1-year mandatory apprenticeship, either in carpentry, welding, masonry, IT, hair making and stuff. So that by the time the person decides to go to tertiary, the person has a skill. If the person is employable, he can choose to work. If he so wishes that he wants to be at the tertiary level, then he goes. This business of wholesale passing people to the university to go and read political science, what is it? Go and read Russia. The nation has moved beyond this, your political science and Russia. How many of us do politics have read political science? We are looking for skill. Sometimes you go and you go and ask for a carpenter to come and do your work. It takes weeks. Most of the artisans we have in this country are coming from our neighboring country, Togo. The painters and stuff, they are coming there. The Ghanaian there has to be a reorientation of the mind.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah. David, you heard about we mentioned the 500,000 a great target
and coders.
Policy.
Okay.
Quickly, Honorable Charles said you had a lot of time, and I agree with him. I'm going to give you just a little time to answer this. How we are making sure that this will reach the unemployed youth.
Okay. We engaged the Minister for Communication and Digitization, Sam George, and we're rolling out the second phase of the coded program, where in our constituencies, the instructors have been appointed and ICT centers have been refurbished and the computers are sent there and all that. And people are going to start attending the coded program. And so if you do not know, you better get close to him. He's in your constituent, your region, and so that your people benefit from it. I tell you what, if Ghanaians can help His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the implementation of agricultural, ideas comes to reality, okay? This country will move from where we are to the best of best. The reason is that the agricultural industry, right from, growing into processing and finding market, is a huge gap that we need to close. And I think that there are too much job that we can have within that sector. And so for me, it's a good thing, good idea, good implementation. I want to commend my own brother, Eric, the Minister for Agric, John, Dumelo. What they are doing there is fantastic. Things are happening. And,
Is it reaching the youth, the unemployed youth?
There is one issue we need to deal with, and we're dealing with that. We need to make agricultural businesses and jobs attractive to the youth. And that's what we're trying to do back in our schools. Remember when you, secondary school, for example, and the junior schools, when you go and you misbehave, they'll tell you to go and read.
I know that was also discouraged.
So I'm saying that
those are
some of the things that we teach to our young men and women, that they see agricultural, farming to be punishment, which is wrong. I think that we're trying to re-engineer, re-sensitize people and there should be no good business in this world more than agricultural business. Because everything we do here is agric. There's nothing dropping from the sky. Everything we have here, the clothing we're wearing, the food we eat, everything. So for me, it's a good idea. And implementing it.
I was expecting you to ask for a bit of. He said, my brother said last week they as NDC or government, they met with the Minister for...
No, I'm talking about the Committee for Communication.
But I'm a member of the committee.
But so I told you said something quietly, and then I'm sure he was trying to respond to that.
You were not at the meeting.
No, I've always attended the meeting. Then he said to the effect, in fact, we were at Alisa together with the minister when he said that MPs from April will be launching the CODES program at their various constituencies.
So I thought you said you don't know anything about it.
Let him land. Let him land. Let him land. I said I was at Alisa, a program, together, and then the minister said, so quickly I called our leader. He said no. So then I called our ranking. Whether he's in the known. He said no. So is it the case that it is the NDC MPs that are launching the program next month? You understand? Because I'm living on the committee. Oh, that we need to be careful. It is either you serve the nation or you serve your party. But once you go on the tangent of serving your party, then you are offering a disservice to the nation. You understand? Let him get on with jobs. My brother talks, maybe he never made mention. He was only praising and patronizing his colleague ministers and deputies. I'm surprised. He should be asking that. How many were given to Michelle Camp? How many were given to Burma Camp? How many were given to the police farms? How many were given to the prison farms? I believe in reverse importation and reverse exploitation. I'm a businessman. I wish Ghana we will import less and export so much. Our export cover is 65% comes from extraction. That is why everybody is selling his cocoa farm to the Galamseyers. He talks about everything good. It's not in the grapevine that gold board, that's how they call them. Sammy James, yes. They bought a TV, one single TV for more than 800,000.
No, but then you can't say that it's not true.
Do you have?
I use the word.
I wouldn't allow such things to pass if you don't have,
It is
facts
not
and
fair.
stuff. Where is it coming from?
I mean, so
Because
please,
when you do that, then you
let's
put
not do
that
this
in.
to our
No, you don't put that. I said that the
institutions.
grapevine has it.
No, don't.
No, but we don't use
talk about
grapevines
grapevine.
here.
You talk
We don't
about
use grapevines,
facts.
please.
On this
So-
program, it's only facts you talk about.
So,
David, so let me-
when
I mean, you know,
when
you
you
know.
said that, what do you call it? The coded program at the various constituencies, they are going to start from next month. Was he speaking to the facts?
No, you just confirmed that you had a meeting with the minister.
I
Lisa
never
Wood,
said- oh.
Who actually mentioned to you about the coded program, and they are rolling it out. I mentioned
You are
something,
rehashing
and that's
things.
what it is.
You are.
So you don't
see,
say
you are
things that
Okay.
are not correct.
You are making pronouncements which are not.
So you should have that.
Let him land. Let him land. You see.
FPP is
10
so
seconds.
dazed
You see,
to
you
extent
see.
that they can't even say anything that is correct.
Quickly,
for once.
so I move to
so
the-
dazed with the performance
No,
of
just go
Mr.
ahead with
Wood,
it.
That's what it is.
You need to moderate.
Jesus.
I gave you all the 100%, but now you are allowing my
That's
friend
why I
to-
said you go ahead. You have-
All that I'm begging of the NDC is to pay the cocoa farmers their
Oh, my
due.
brother.
Vondi, please don't make things difficult.
We were paying them 3,100. They said they were going to pay them 6,000. Then you said they were going to pay them 3,600. Now they are being paid 2,500. People are burning their cocoa farms. People are selling them off. Look, there will come a time that Ghana will not be a cocoa producing nation. We should be careful. And the president, President Mahama, shouldn't be so obfuscated about getting only gold. He should protect the cocoa farmer. He should not be the motivator for cocoa farmers to sell their cocoa farms to galamseyers. Look at our water body.
That's a bit. If you say he's motivating them to sell, that's a bit.
No, but he should give them what is due them. He has decided not to. He has the power to pay them.
Yeah,
Solo?
FPP. You're so bad with mathematics.
I want to take your view
FPP,
on.
so bad with mathematics.
David, I want to take Solo's view on the World Bank meeting. What do you call it? The finance minister to come up with certain strategic business plans externally. Is that what we should be looking at, or we should focus on bolder domestic reforms?
Yes, I mean, plans that will get the youth employment, and for it, remember, you have about 60% of your population falling between the ages of 18 and above. So it's a national security concern. If nothing scares this government, then the recent applications to the security services must be an eye-opener.
Okay.
Now you open a portal, you have about 500,000 people wanting to be with the security service. Even if we were to take it that some of them bought 4 forms here and there, it still comes to about 300,000. So we must, but you see, the government that destroyed the cocoa sector is not far from the NPP. You know, they bought they paid $100 million for pruning and slashing machines. The farmers say it's not being correct. Why do we do this to ourselves?
Well, fortunately, our time is up. So
Never again must we encounter a group of people that came to loot.
we have to wrap up here. I'm grateful. The time is so limited that we have to move on. Thank you for coming on,
Today I
Honorable.
didn't come early, so I won't fight you for time.
Honorable Vondi, Honorable Forson, and Mr. Unsu. Thank you for coming to the show. It's been the headline segment. GTV Breakfast Show goes on. Ahead, we have something on giant bead sculpture, and also lawyer Anoche will join us on Ghana's foundational history. So stay on.